Most women have that dream or desire to get married to someone that would love them exclusively. They don't want to share their man with any other person. But for some women, do you know that they just want to marry married men? Yes, they desire to marry only married men. Now, I'll tell you a story about a woman in her 20s who was determined to marry a married man. How did it end? Did it end well? Did she get married to him? Did it work out? Secretly dealing with what the society considers shameful? Or are you tormented by your thoughts? Or do you just want to learn from the experience of others? I am Efe Omordia, a trained behavior coach and certified mentor. And here on the Behavior Hub YouTube channel, you will get that objective perspective that you so desperately need. Your life and purpose shouldn't be left to chance. It's time to get intentional. She was 25 years old and a youth corper. And in a conversation with another youth corper, she divulged her intention. She said she was only going to get married to a married man. And it seemed strange. But when people make that decisions, maybe you should check her background. Now, let me give a background of this person. Yes, this person's mother was a second wife to a man that was already married, and she gave birth to about 4 or 5 of them. So I think based on her background and worldview, she was now she now thought that being a second wife is the best and most viable option. When she was asked why she wanted to be a second wife, she didn't really say why, even though by that time, when she was a youth corper, she was already in a relationship, or should I say, a situationship with a fellow youth corper or a young man who really liked her. But as much as she liked him as well in her own way, she was determined to be a second wife. Now, this is a person that when you look at her, there's nothing wrong with her physically. She was a very beautiful woman to a large extent. She was good looking, she was quite intelligent, and she was quite a fortunate person, in quotes, because when she was at the university, she won a trip to South Africa. Yes, that's her kind of person, that's how she was. So things were going well for her. Her mother was in the upper middle class category. So it wasn't like, okay, she needed money to train her younger ones, but she was quite determined to be a second wife. And she served in Abuja. If you are someone that knows Abuja, the terrain of Abuja, there are many married men that are doing well, and they always look out for younger girls. So it didn't seem as if that desire would be hard to fulfill. And true to word, after several years, she got hooked to a married man from a very popular family. Yes, a popular family in the southwestern part of Nigeria. I will not mention the name because once I mention the name, you will have an idea of the kind of family. But it's all this old wealth. She was married into this old wealth, into this very wealthy family. And she gave birth. She gave birth to 3 boys for this man. So on the surface, it will look as if everything was perfect. Yes, everything was perfect for a while. She even had a very good job in this a telecommunications company. That time, telecommunications company, they started in Nigeria, like in year 2000. So she got a job in the most prominent telecommunications company in Nigeria at that time, and she was doing well. So everything seemed to be going well for her. So after some years, she left the company because she had some issues, and she decided to get married to this married man that was from a well-to-do family. She was traveling abroad. She had a shop in Abuja where she was selling clothes, and things were going so well for her, or so it seemed. But a few years into that marriage, before her first son was about maybe 6 or 7, she got really ill. And really, one did not understand what the illness was about. Sometimes when you get married, marriage is it's a kind of covenant. So before you get married to anybody, you have to be sure of the person. You can't just see anybody and say, oh, I love him, oh, I'll get married, or I love her, I'll get married. There are things attached to marriage that we cannot see with the eye. Sometimes even something as simple or as common as genotype. If you have a genotype, you are AS for example, and you marry some other person with AS, there are medical consequences for that. Yes. But now she got married to this man, and first of all, this man was sharing his body with somebody else. So sharing your body with someone that is sharing his body with somebody else has a lot of spiritual and physical consequences, because you are not the only person sleeping with that man. There are other people sleeping with that man. Yes, that is the spiritual consequence I want to talk about. So she got ill after a point. She got really ill, and nobody knew exactly what was happening. She was running from one church to the other, churches that people will say, oh, think they have a lot of healing, people get healed in that church. But after a while, when she went to those churches, it didn't work out, and she passed away. Now, when she passed away, she left some real problems. Yes, she left three boys that the man was no longer interested in looking after or in being a father to. And it's so sad. This man was very wealthy, but he decided not to have any relationship with her children. Yeah, so when you are a woman, you are considering dating a married man that already has a family, it's a problem. And she, before she passed away, she experienced the problem firsthand, because her own mother married a guy that was already married. And so she did not have any relationship with her stepbrothers or sisters. In fact, her stepbrothers and sisters resented her. That even when her father passed away, during the burial and all that, they did not want anything to do with her or her other siblings. And the thing really hurt her, it really pained her, because she didn't have that kind of relationship she should have had with her step siblings. So her sons, her three sons, were now neglected. The man that she gave birth for, that she married, did not live up to his responsibilities. Now, we're not even talking about what happened exactly, what made her lose her life. Were there any spiritual or physical connotations? We don't even know about that. But the truth is that the man she got married to was a known guy, most likely a politician. And you know what happens with politicians? Quite a number of them put their hands into things that are not proper, and they open doors. So he may have opened a door of sickness, or even inflicted a sickness upon her. Sometimes they are requested to sacrifice certain members of their families in such political circles to advance. You know how it is in this part of the world. Yes, some are requested to give their family members as a sacrifice for them to reach the pinnacle of their careers or political ambitions. So we don't know whether she was used for that. Now, even that's one apart, her children were now neglected. So her mother was now left to be the one to look after the children. And of course, she made quite some money when she was married to the man. She used to travel to different countries. She had a shop. But her illness gulped most of the money. So by the time she was ready, she was about to pass away, things were not as rosy as possible. So her mother was now left to look after her three grandsons. And the sons were just young. They did not even have the opportunity to enjoy their mother. And now their mother passed away. They didn't have authentic relationship with the father. In fact, the grandmother was complaining that the father had practically abandoned the children. So when you are a woman, you are making decisions concerning marriage, concerning relationships, please think about the consequences, the larger implications. You may feel it's your body, it's your right, or you can do what you like, but sometimes life can come with unexpected issues. And the thing you think is your foundation, like what you are holding on to, may be shaky. There are some foundations that are shaky, and there are some foundations that will never fall, that will last for eternity. So before you make a decision as a young woman, if you're in a place like Abuja, you're a youth corper, or you're in some towns, major cities, you see a lot of men. There are many men that are ready to spoil you. They are ready to lure you with their wealth. And there may be a younger person that is interested in you, that is single, that may not have that much money. You may now think that, oh, those rich men will be a better option, but more often than not, there are very dire consequences. So, as a young person, as a young woman, even as a young man, before you take decisions, don't look at the externals. Look at other things that would last, please, so that you don't end up being regretting why you enter such a relationship, not understanding the implications till you are already hooked. Sometimes these men put a bait for young women. They just bait you and they don't tell you what they really want. You think they love you, or you are the one, you are beautiful and all that. That's not what they're interested in. You, more often than not, there's something else they are looking for inside. So please, as a young woman, have you ever been approached by an older man who was married and he promised you some things, and were you able to resist him? Or do you know people that fell for such men and they are regretting today? Please, let's continue the conversations in the comments. So till I see you in the next video, where I'll talk about something equally useful. Take care.